the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jessy Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey everybody, it's Friday and welcome to another slap and tickle edition of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. I am John Taman, and as usual, I will do a piss poor job of managing this show and moving along the way it's supposed to do and keeping any kind of context to it. We are down a man tonight as Keith is he's got some family duties to which he must attend, so it's going to be just me and my friend here, the most optimistic Commanders fan that I think I've ever met, Jessy Martin. I like that. What's that look like? A post office hat there. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a work hat. I got off work a little bit late. Didn't have time to get my wardrobe changed. So
that looks like
I am, baby.
$2.95 at any respectable truck stop.
Pretty
Either that,
much.
or while you're waiting for your car wash, you can either buy one of those or a little air
Pretty
freshener. All right, so hey, we got we're waiting on a guest somewhere. Andrew Lockhart over in the UK is wondering how come he hasn't gotten his message yet. But hey, if you're watching, Andy, look on Twitter or look in your email box. I'm hoping that Jessy gave me the right address. If not, I did send it to you on Twitter. So join us whenever you're ready. All right, so it's been a week. You know, the usual week after a loss of everybody up on the ledge and screaming and yelling and pointing fingers and then yelling at people that are pointing fingers and saying, "How dare you talk about problems with this team? What do you know?" I actually had a guy use with me the other day that, "We? Who is we? Do you play for the team?" Dude, there's no bigger fucking clown comment on the planet than that. So seems to be a regular season as it's going on just the way it is. Did you find anything this week particularly grating? You're not really much on the social media anymore.
No, listen. I have learned from years past that when we play like shit and things are not looking so good, I tend to stay away from the cesspool of social media. You know, so I just to try to keep myself out of trouble, because as we always say on this podcast, us fans, we're stupid.
And that's, speaking directly at everybody I'm pointing at.
Yeah.
All right. So because if there's one thing that I'm a Commanders fan, if I learned from my coach, it's how to like this. Hey, it's your fucking fault, buddy. It's you. All right.
Big shout out to Scott Harley. He's joined us in the chats. What's going on? My friend from across the pond. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us.
Where the hell do you see these things? I don't see these things. Oh, there it is. Hey,
yeah,
Scott, how you doing? I'm just still learning how to use this thing. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I know our friend Nathan Perry, he always is telling me, "Come on, I'll help you out with this thing." And I swear, I'd love to, Nathan, but you're military. I'm not military, but I work with the military, so time is hard to find. It's a matter, and there's not a whole lot of help to do with this thing. There's not a whole lot of how-to on this website. So we're fumbling along as we go. Anyway, Scott did have are we ready for the Eagles? Is that what Scott wants to know?
Shit.
That's what this whole podcast is about, Scott. Way to give it away.
There's a reason why I'm not going to be at FedEx Field this Sunday, and I guess we'll get into it.
All right. Well, what is it? What is the reason that you're not going to be at FedEx Field this Sunday?
Because I don't feel like
we got nothing but time here, buddy. Let's go.
It's going to. I'm feeling it's not going to be pretty, and I tend to run my mouth a lot, and I know there's a lot of Eagles fans that are going to be there, and they're going to be running their mouths a lot, and it just might not be pretty. And I just don't feel like watching us get our fucking asses handed to us, to be honest with you.
Well, stay home then, because I'm not going either. And it's not because of anything like that, but I think I discussed this before. I can watch it on my TV. That's just fine. And yes, for all of you out there that are going to complain, I am being fuck your beer snobbery. I'm drinking some cheap shit today.
Yeah, some nasty shit is what you're drinking.
Whatever. All right, so okay, Scott did have another question. He asked it over on Twitter, and I'm trying to find it real quick here, Scott. So bear with me. Gents, hope you haven't recorded yet. Got a quick question for the pod. What would be your report card? Oh, I should say it like Scott. What would be your report card on Ron and the team in the third season? Another one. Who do you dislike more out of the NFC East teams and why? So that was a terrible Scott Hartley impression.
I think that the better Scott Hartley impression is, I just chewed his fault mates.
I just chewed his fault. So all right, so there we've had, okay, there's our Scott Hartley. But hey, our friend Andy Lockhart has joined us from the jolly old UK. So Scott, we'll get to your question in a minute because, you know, Andy's here. Yeah. Finally, he's figured out how to get here. What is that behind you? Is that an old school video game?
Which one? This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one's a it's a gambling machine, basically.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So
that is an old school video game.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I've also got an actual real arcade just next to the other side of here. Maybe I can show you. Here we go.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, no shit. There you
That's
go.
Full size. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's all right. So what, do you live in a convenience store?
That's my office. Yeah. I've got a coffee machine just there as well. Yeah, happy days, man.
I like the helmet back there. All right, that's cool.
What's going on, Andy?
The Redskins one's Joe Gibbs signed.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
how you been, Andy?
Yeah, well, I'm better than I was. Tell you that.
Had a little rough week.
Mate, shocking, man.
Ago, huh?
My voice was shocking, bro.
Yeah,
I'm blaming the game. I'm blaming the game. All the screaming I was doing.
Yeah,
that's why I blame.
That's normal. That's
my
Monday, Tuesday voice at this time of the year.
Us English boys can't handle it. You know, we're not used to that kind of thing. So, you know.
Well, welcome to it, because literally all fall my Monday, Tuesday voices because of the football game.
Oh, mate, grim. Oh, it took a week to get back to kind of a normal-ish type voice. So,
well, I'll tell you what, we do have somebody else we have to say hello to, because I picked up somebody this week that gave me a nickname called. He gave Mr. Stato. I am now Mr. Stato down in Australia. Jesse, we've now reached to the land down under.
Oh,
we picked up an Australian listener who I suppose is watching today and listening today. We had a lot of fun talking about some shit this week. So for him, I'm going to go ahead and play the Australian national anthem.
Australia, 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 we love you. Amen.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much.
It's a touching song.
I thought it was it's very moving. Listen, for all you people down in Australia, welcome. And I hope that the audience down there just grows and grows and grows, because let's face it, most of the things that are down there are trying to kill you. So you're going to have something to do while you're running from everything that's trying to eat you. So anyway, we had a question here from Scott that we were getting to when Andy dropped by. And I've lost it now because I've got so many goddamn windows open. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. Gents, hope we haven't recorded yet. Oh, yeah, I already asked this. What would be your report card for Ron in the third season so far? So I think it's a little early. This is more like interims. We're going to write home to Ron's parents and tell them how he's doing. I think that's what we're going to do. So, Andy, we'll start with you.
Ooh. Report card at the moment for me is C. You know, it's not. I love Ron. You know, he's a guy that we needed when we first started off with this, with all these issues when he came in. You know, he had a lot to deal with, and I really, really appreciate what he's been doing for us. However, with results on the pitch, on the field, we're not nowhere near good enough. And the problem is, it's the personnel. So when you're blaming Ron, that is Ron's domain. It's the personnel of people who he's hiring, who he's fired, all the rest of it, or cut, whoever. And on defense, man, it's just not at the level needed to be able to go deep. All
right, so you're giving him a C for 3 years. You're getting for the 2 years and 2 games, right? So far, is that where we're at?
Yeah, I mean, first, let's say first season was probably got to give him an A. To be fair, first season.
No, I think Scott's just asking us for what it is overall so far, which, you know, we're 2 games into the third season. I don't think that's really a fair question. But yeah, C overall is about what I would say as well. You know, we had a good first season. The second season was a major disappointment. And right now, you're right. We're seeing a lot of defensive troubles. And there's a lot of question as to whose fault that is. But you can bet that the coaching staff knows. And it's not anybody in their room. It's you out there, Mr. Player. I'm telling you, I'm getting about tired of that shit. Jesse, what do you think? Where's your grade?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of break this up a little bit. Ron
5 letters.
was not only brought in here to coach the football team, but Ron was brought in here to fix the almost 30 years of fucking mistakes that everybody has made. And in that sense, if you take front office, like the politicky type Ron, I'd give him a slightly higher grade than the C. I'd probably give him a B. But when it comes to the football aspect, it's an incomplete. It's an incomplete right now. He's turned over the roster since he's been here, and it looks like now we have built an offense, and it was supposed to be we should be living off of our defense, and that's what's letting us down. So right now, things aren't looking pretty, but I'm going to give him an incomplete because it's going to take this year for me to give him an actual grade. I've been on Ron's side since he's gotten here, and things that we've seen here lately. Like I love all the off-field stuff that he's done. It seems like he has changed the culture.
We're running off the field again.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is it's got to turn to wins on the field, and it hasn't really yet. I mean, 1-1 though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really tell so far from this year. By the way, thank you to Scott. For the question that set us off on our initial discussion. The thing about it that's bothering me is that the defense, you said it, the defense is supposed to be the thing that was going to buoy this team while the offense got itself together and got itself going. They were going to be able to stay in games, keep the scores down, give the offense a chance to be able to grow with these younger players and these other acquisitions that they've made. And not only has it not happened, and granted, we're only 2 games into this season, but the effort against the Jaguars was not what I would consider great. It was mediocre at best. And in fact, if not for a dropped pass, they would have scored a touchdown and probably we might have lost that game. It would have been a much more difficult way to win. Last week, absolutely atrocious. The things that everybody's talking about this week about Cole Holcomb diving at the ground, Cole Holcomb yet again grabbing air because he doesn't know where the fuck he is, David Mayo on a football field for some God-known reason. Look, I've been saying this shit since Jack Del Rio is a mess. This defense is a mess. When I'm continually hearing, "Yeah, we got communication problems." Jesus fucking Christ, we got communication problems since last year. You could have taught every one of these guys how to speak Mongolian by now, but they still can't figure out how to pass off in the zone. Everybody's hoping that this week Cam Curl coming back is going to give them that spark. It's going to give them that communication edge that they need to be able to realize that, oh, you're leaving the zone, I better let him go to that guy. I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm all off on a tangent. Let me see what I wrote down next for what our
You got to think about as well is that these guys are getting paid handsomely to be able to play this game, and
sure.
And so you got to have some sort of kind of football IQ, otherwise you wouldn't be able to make it in the NFL in the first place,
Yeah.
And so this communication problem. I mean, it's not like English to American like it is now today, but it's which people can understand or might get misinterpreted. The game's the same. The players are the same. They've learned it. They've been there for weeks or months. Months learning the system. Some have been there for years. You know what I mean? So it's just like, well, why haven't we got it right? Do you know what I mean? Why is that?
That's why I have to point at the coach. That's really why I have to point at the coach, because when your players can't figure out your scheme, that's on you. You can't teach them. Something's going on. You can't just look at me and say that guys like Jackson, guys like Fuller, who these guys have played at a high level in the NFL. They're not old men. They're not decrepit now. They're not, they've had 10 knee injuries. These guys, they can't figure out this fucking scheme. Bobby McCain has played at a high level in this league. They're making mistakes. They look like rookies. They don't know what the hell they're doing. At no point do I ever see our defensive coaches changing anything to match what these guys can do or adjusting their so-called scheme to fit what these fucking apparently idiotically stupid players can handle. They don't. They just keep expecting the same thing. As a matter of fact, I was going to do a bit this week. Maybe I'll do it next week, depending on the results of this week, of Jack Del Rio's brand new product. The same old shit. Just rub some on whatever you're doing, and you'll get the same goddamn results. So, you know me, Jesse. I've been down on the goddamn defensive coaches.
Sure.
As soon as the season ended last year, I wanted them swapped out. Now this year, everybody, you complain about the defensive coaches, and of course, everybody goes right to the worst thing. You want them all fired? Well, no, it's week 2. You can't really fire them. Although, I think we talked about with Keith the other day. What are you going to bring in this secondary coach?
Yeah, I know there's so many people that want Chris Harris to come in. And
why? Secondary communication problems. You can't teach them what to do either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to pass on that. That's why I was saying last week, I think it's just too late. We're just going to have to ride this wave out.
Right.
I mean, possibly Ron could take over play calling duties, but what good is that going to do right now? It's not like you can change scheme in the middle of the fucking season. You just can't do it.
But you can simplify. You can adjust certain
things.
It
was supposed to have been simplified. There's players out this offseason that William Jackson III, oh yeah, the defense was simplified. They took a lot of the language away, and it's fucking worse than it was last year.
The language is still the same. The language is still the same. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. They're out there yelling at each other. What the fuck? What?
Yeah. Look, man. It's one thing that we still have to keep in mind. It is early in the season, and things can't get worse. At least I don't think so.
Oh yeah, they could.
Our
offense is rolling.
I don't know. I don't think things
defensively we are vulnerable, but the offense is able to keep us in these games.
Defensively, I just don't think. I just don't think there is. It just can't get worse. I mean, when you have,
they're only 27th, dude. There's 5 more spots to go.
Come on now. Come on.
I mean, don't come on down me. Last year, when we're hearing adjectives like historically bad attached to all these defensive statistics, I don't have much faith.
You had a running back fall on his fucking ass, and there wasn't anybody 15 yards away from him.
Did you hear what Ron said?
To get up? I heard. I just ignored.
He said, if only that one guy had made the play he was supposed to make.
So it was just purely a blown assignment. Is that basically what he's saying?
Well, if you looked at who was it? Was it Ben Standing had a picture of that play as it developed, and there is an 18-yard empty area, sideline to sideline, with 2 receivers running through it. Even if there's one guy, who's the one guy that's going to cover both hash marks?
Yeah. I misspoke last. I misspoke last week, and I said there were 7 big plays for 50 yards or more, and I think it was only 5, but still, that's 5 fucking plays, 50 yards, more than 50 yards.
I know it was traumatic, but it was only Monday. We were talking about this.
We're going to be in for a long season if things don't get better. I mean, we got to face the facts on that one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me see here.
And like I said last week, unless we can score 40 points a game, I mean, and I'm not being sarcastic.
No, I know you're not.
It's these teams that can run the ball on us, because it doesn't seem like we can fucking stop them run either.
I don't know. If you take all right now, I hate using this phrase. If you take away that, because you can't when you look at the overall picture. But if you take away the 50-yard run, they only gave up something like 3.8 yards.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. But it's the fact
you just got to make sure that there's 2 things that happen. David fucking Mayo is nowhere near the stadium, and Cole Holcomb is driving him someplace to pick up some coffee. Get those fucking guys out of there.
Just put in Eifler and John Bob. I think
Eifler. I forgot. That leaves me there going, put me in, coach.
Shoot me now, bro. Shoot me now.
I guess I'll have to upload Whiff one of these days.
I mean, to be fair, who would you kind of put? Would you put like a QB spy on Hurts this weekend
I overheard some people on either a podcast or radio. I don't think that's a good idea for us because of the fact that our secondary and linebackers have such a problem communicating in the first place. You're going to take away another person just to spy. That to me would just lead to more trouble. And
how does David Mayo not understand when they go, no, the other fucking you idiot?
Yeah,
damn it.
Oh,
but I mean, I thought about that. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts. You know, you have to get to him, and you have to get to him from. We're going to have to blitz, and we're going to have to be very, very careful. And we've had success blitzing in the first 2 games. Jamin Davis is quick. He's, you know, you got to use his strengths because he's not fully grasped the linebacker position yet. So put him in a position to win. You can get him on some blitzes. You know, he might be able to get to Jalen Hurts because he's so quick. But you have to do it at the right times. You have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it at the right times and not, you know, set your secondary up for failure by leaving someone wide open, you know, with 18 yards between.
What about Davis being the actual spy?
Well, I want to thank Andy for hosting the show.
You know, make it simple
Andy.
for him.
He brings some structure to the show. That's great.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. You can answer that one.
I don't think he should spy. Okay. And the reason I don't think he should spy is because a spy is a passive thing. He just chases him around, follows him around, and makes sure he doesn't get outside of contain. Fuck that. Attack him. Go get him. I think Jamin Davis is athletic. I think he's fast enough, and he hits like a ton of bricks. And, you know, you live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. So it's occasionally going to hurt. But I think that it's going to hurt them more if they can get in there, especially early, and go get him. And I don't mean blitz him every play. All right. But let's face it. When it comes to making coverage decisions, he's not the best. So limit the number of times he makes coverage decision and give him more of what, when you say something that he's good at, Jamin, go kill quarterback. Go kill the quarterback. Go get him. Go get him. Jalen Hurts is your man. Go get him. Turn him loose. Let him do something like that. Turn him into a Lawrence Taylor type linebacker for tomorrow. And then hopefully you take away enough time from Hurts that Cole Holcomb being on the field can't hurt you. You know, we can say that we don't want to leave our secondary vulnerable, you know, by doing something like that, by going in and leaving it clear. Okay, so this is what I've been saying all along. Last year when the bye week came along and they made adjustments, one of the adjustments they made was they changed how the secondary was covering. They got them out of these zones and they started letting them cover up man to man.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're going to have to do during this game because
why aren't they fucking doing it now? Why are you? This is the Jack Del Rio, same old shit. Just smear some on. You know, it'll work this time, I swear.
Both the Lions and the Vikings played zone against Jalen Hurts, and he killed him. He killed him for it.
Exactly.
It's easy to find those soft spots, especially when you have you're able to move sideline to sideline like Jalen Hurts can, and then with the ability to take off with his legs,
he weaves in and out of all kinds of shit, man. Yeah,
so
he's Michael Vick with not a whole lot of speed, but he is definitely
playing zone. I think is the dumbest thing to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to. They have good wide receivers, especially if you give what's his name, Devontae
Smith.
You give him the space to make you look silly, he will. I was watching a play breakdown of his this morning where it's a simple little 12-yard curl. He catches it, gets the first down. It's easy as pie. And the reason why is because he runs it at the cornerback and he turns on the jets just for a flash. And the cornerback is about practically falling head over ass just to try to catch up from where he thinks Smith is going. Smith stops, turns around. He's got a 5-yard cushion. Easy. So, yeah, man, get up and jam him. Get the fuck up there and jam him. No, what else you gonna do? What else you got nothing to lose, right? Yeah. I don't want to hear him come out and say to me,
"Listen, they're going to score. They're going to score points. They're going to move the ball. We have to limit. We have to stop the bleeding first and foremost. I mean, they're going to score at least 28 points on us. I think that's a given.
Yeah, maybe
we got to try to stop them from scoring 35. and we might have a chance.
Yeah.
The only
All
fucking
right,
way.
Andy, what do you think of Mr. Optimist up there? What do you think of that? How do
Am
you
I
see
wrong?
it?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
No, you're not
Okay.
wrong. No,
that's yeah. I mean, that's the only. We are going to have to score almost every time we touch the football on offense. I honestly think that if we want any chance of winning, because nobody in their right mind should have faith in this defense whatsoever. What a one plus we do have is Cam Curl is coming back, so maybe that will limit. Let's see how they deploy Cam Curl and Derek Forrest. I'm hoping they'll get on the field at the same time most of the game. I think so. you have to put your best players on the field, and Derek Forrest for the past couple of weeks has proven he belongs on the field and not on the sideline.
He reads quick, and he has such beautiful tackle technique, man.
Yeah, and he can hit too. He can hit.
This is the thing. We got to cause some turnovers. We haven't caused a turnover yet this year, except for the one pick by Forrest at the end of the game, which I'm not taking anything away from. But we haven't forced a single fumble. We haven't even forced a fumble onto the ground that we didn't recover.
Yeah.
So defense needs to step up. All right, let's see. So how long have we been on this thing for 26 minutes already? Have we made fun of Keith yet for not being here?
No, we have not.
What's the matter with you, man?
He's scared of me. That's what it is. He's scared.
Yeah, he is. He's
scared.
He's
scared.
Scared. All right, so I think that this is a prime opportunity before we really – I mean, we've been talking about the Eagles game somewhat, but we're going to get into it. And I did make a promise to our friend B-More that we are not going to slurp on the Eagles at all today. And I think you will see what I mean in a few minutes. But before that, all right, Andy, let me get your take on this event.
It's hotter than the minute it came out.
What
Like,
happened,
it was 70
Scotty?
degrees, now it's 90 degrees. Hot, sticky air from my ass. Oh, fuck, my aunt, she been sick there. That shit is really fucking sick. Oh, fuck, you killed him, literally.
Scotty, you okay?
Yeah, man.
What happened?
I just chewed his fart, man, straight in my face.
All right, so
brilliant.
But the whole thing is, I'm gonna let Andy finish this. What happened after that was even funnier.
dude, I was glad when they told me it was the other Andy that did this. I was thinking, God, if you did this, man, they'd be calling out,
Oh no,
yeah.
no. What happened after? Poor Scott Hartley, man. Poor Scott Hartley.
Yeah, he wasn't
You
too
would have
impressed
thought.
of what I did to him afterwards. Yeah.
So is this like a pastime in y'all's country? Is y'all just go around farting each other's mouths and things like that? Just
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's always a good laugh, you know. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's always a good laugh. See, the women that watch the show, they never understand.
yeah, they don't understand. Man.
I'll say that farts are fucking funny, man. I don't care
Dude,
how
if they
old
weren't
you
so
are.
funny, they wouldn't come from your ass, right? If they weren't meant to be funny, they're like your own personal little comedy machine.
Yes, sorry, Scott. I did fart directly on his head when he was asleep.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that one was
While
not
he was
on-
asleep.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, he wasn't happy, was he? He wasn't happy.
No, he wasn't happy.
No, he was fuming.
Well, I guess not. And the neighbors downstairs watching him puke out all of his McDonald's food probably weren't happy either. That's what I was thinking. Y'all come over here and y'all start eating American friggin' fried foods, and my God, that
That's
had to
it.
have been just
Okay,
awful.
yeah.
It was
I'll go
the famous DC chili fries that
Oh.
they all ate at Theismann's that night, and it was a shit fest, literally.
Good old American shit fest. Hey, all right. So, did you watch Joe Theismann's Football Life yet?
Yes,
I
it's
haven't seen
amazing.
it, no.
You have
Do you get that over there, Andy? Do you get things like that?
Yeah, we can get it. I've got Game Pass, so I'll definitely get hold of it. Yeah, just haven't had a chance
I think they released it on YouTube as well. It was great, man. It was they spent a lot of time at RFK where I picked you guys up at. They did a lot of filming there.
yet. Okay.
Yeah, it brought back some memories when I was a kid. So it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to watch it. It's on my list of things to do this weekend. Joe Theismann is my favorite quarterback of all time.
Did you know Drew Pearson, famous wide receiver from Dallas Cowboys, His first ever touchdown pass was from Joe Theismann. They were
Joe
teammates.
Theismann.
Yeah, you're right.
Theismann.
They were teammates in high school. I did not know that until I watched that documentary. So there was a lot of Drew in there, and there was a lot of Lawrence Taylor. They were reminiscent about, the ending of Joe's career and that awful,
Dude,
break.
I was watching that game. All right, because I'm the old guy here. I was watching that game, and not only was I watching that game, but I was taking classes at night, and I had just gotten back when that game started, and I was eating my dinner. I was eating a fucking pork chop when that shit happened. And dude, ABC would not stop replaying it.
Yeah.
Every 10 seconds, we're going to caution you once again. Please, this is absolutely disgusting. Horrible things, violence on the field. Please don't turn away if you're squeamish. But here it comes again. By the way, next time we're going to show it. We're going to warn you again. Here it comes again. Oh, my God. It just wouldn't stop, man. And I'm sitting there trying to eat my shake and bake like, oh, Jesus Christ. But Jay Schrader came in and won the game.
Yep.
The other side of the story.
Sure did.
You know what my favorite other side of the story is? You know, when the Eagles, since we're playing the Eagles this week, we might as well segue back into them. The famous body bag game that those sons of bitches up there always talk about, the body bag game. We kicked your ass. I remember that one too. That was a Monday night, and they did, man. They were literally dragged. Brian Mitchell was the quarterback by the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah.
It was bad. They were taking guys out left and right. The rest of the story, 6 weeks later, we went into the vet in the playoffs and humbled the shit out of them, beat their ass. Art Monk caught a touchdown pass on the first drive with his legs so far high up in the air that it kicked everybody in Philly right in the ass, and they went home with a quiet little 20-7 defeat when it mattered. Go away. So, now that we've that up, what do you think about our chances for the game this week, Andy?
Slim, to be honest.
Slim.
Yeah. yeah. So, I think I think we have to play a different way than what we have been playing on offense, actually, because we need to keep Hurts off the field. So we need to get that run game going.
Yeah.
Unlikely with the guys we've got there at the moment. It's been proven, this season that they haven't been able to get any push, anything. So a bit concerned about that. And I think, if Hurts is on the field quite a lot, they're just going to he's just going to kill us with his legs. So they're going to put at least 40 on us. I think personally,
40.
I think they can put at least 40 on us. And I think I say we, as Jessy always says, we need to score 40 to win, and I just can't see us getting
then
that.
It's a tie.
Yeah. I'd take it to overtime now. Do you know what I mean? But
you guys are used to ties over there. We think ties suck over here.
I just can't see us being anywhere close than like maybe 7 points. In deficit to them at the very best. I can't see us getting close. To be fair.
So so you don't think we're going to get within 7? You're not saying they're going to beat us 40-7.
No. Within seven. Yeah. I'm not having that. I'm not turning on if that's the case.
I think we can score points. I just don't think we're going to be able to keep up with them. And this is going to have a lot to do with Carson Wentz and how his emotions are going to be facing his former team for the first time as well. He's been downplaying it really well in the media, but you got to have some emotions if you're Carson Wentz and. If he's too fired up, too amped up for this game, how is that going to affect his play? Is he going to go out there and, when he misses high, and is that going to affect his throwing? How long is it going to take him to settle down? So I do think we can score against them. They're just going to score a lot more. And what I want to see, I'm expecting the loss. And I think every person in our fan base should prepare for it. But still, it's not
a hurricane. Everybody, get the sandbags ready.
Listen, and even if we do lose, it's not going to be the end of the fucking world. But we need to see improvement from the defense. Even in a loss, we got to see improvement from the defense to be able to feel a little bit better about the rest of the season. We have a trip to Dallas after this. There's a good chance to get a win against the backup quarterback in Dallas. And then Tennessee has not looked nearly as good. Yeah, fuck Cooper Rush. Yeah, fuck Cooper Rush.
Dude's not
Fuck
bad.
that motherfucker.
Oh, I'm saying he's not bad. He was throwing
Cooper
yards last week, man.
Look, Cincy is not nearly. They're on a Super Bowl hangover. They're not going to be good this year. And who else did they? They lost to
the Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Buccaneers. They scored 3 points against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers don't have a top-rated defense, I don't think. So I'm not worried about the fucking Dallas Cowboys. It would not surprise me if the New York Giants are 3-0 after this week because they played the Giants, I think, on Monday night. If I'm not
the Cowboys
mistaken.
play the Giants. I think it's probably Sunday night because for some stupid fucking reason, Sunday Night Football thinks games like the Cowboys and the Giants and the freaking Packers and Bears are good games that we all are interested in.
But
guess what, NFL? We're not.
Shout out to Ian Lockhart. Is that any relation to you, Scout?
My actual brother, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
I can't see any comments, so I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Ian logged in to say that your hair looks ridiculous. So what's up with that?
I don't even know how he found it.
Yeah. But look, listen, even
we notified the BBC.
The thing about it is this is an NFC East game, and they can be wacky sometimes.
Wacky? I don't know about wacky. They can be crazy. They can be downright funky, but wacky.
I'm gonna stamp that one. You never know what could happen in these, the NFC East rival games. There's a chance the ball might bounce our way. I don't think it will, but
there's a gleam, man.
Yeah,
listen.
The any given Sunday type of thing. Yeah.
Well, I think it's beyond that. I think that we can look at a little bit more than just random fate to give us an opportunity in this game. I think in the preseason predictions, I picked us to win this game. I believe I did. I said that we're going to win a few that people don't expect us to win, and we're going to lose a few that people don't expect us to lose. And I picked us to win this game, and I'm going to stick with it. And I think that the reason why is because defensively, they've got some players over there on that defense, but we've got an offense that can counter it. As long as two things happen, we've got to be able to counter their blitz, because I swear to God, if you watch the Detroit game tape and you are any defense in the NFL that's going to face us, the first thing that you do is you go unplug the kitchen sink and wrench that motherfucker from the wall, because you're bringing that with you too. You might as well. We can't stop a blitz. We can't stop a stunt. So we're going to have to tighten up protection. We're going to have to make adjustments on the fly to whatever it is that they're going to do, because they're definitely going to try to exploit that and get into Carson Wentz's head. So if we're able to do that, their defense still has the matchup problems with our wide receivers that everybody's going to have. They still have the matchup problem that Antonio Gibson is going to pose, that everybody's going to have, if we are able to give Carson Wentz the time to be able to stand back there and throw. And I don't want to see these let's take 45 seconds to set up to throw. Get some quick hitters, man. Get some quick hitters. Three-step hit. These little freaking hitches to let's get it out to the outside. Let's get it into the slot, and let's get it going that way to back the defense away from that shit, and let them know that if you do want to bring the freaking kitchen sink, we're going to fucking punish you for it. All right? We should know how to do it. It's what everybody does to us. Right? We don't have to look at anybody else's game film to see it.
So, I think isn't Chase out though? As in Chase Roulier.
Oh, Chase Roulier. Yeah, he's out. So we signed another center this week, though, right?
Yeah, Zach Martin's brother, I think. From
Nick Martin. Nick Martin.
Is he going to play? Is he going to play center, or is it going to be
Schweitzer? Schweitzer's going to start. Nick Martin's going to be the backup. He's a good guy to have. He's got plenty of experience. He's got plenty of starting experience as well. So I think we'll be all right. Schweitzer, as long as he's healthy enough, he's a damn good center. I think. I think we'll be all right. Just hopefully Trey Turner can play assignment sound, because he sure as hell didn't do it last week.
Honestly, I swear to God, I said it all week long, and I'm going to amend it. I said that he looked like the fat kid whose mother complains to the coach and gets him some playing time. And I'm going to amend that. He looks like the fat kid whose mother blew the coach to get him some playing time. That dude, I was watching some isolations of him this week. Man, I mean, I get that you're hurt and all of that. I'll accept that if that's what the excuse is. But dude, you're falling down, rolling all over the place, and literally spinning around. You remember that video that came out on? I think it was what were those 5-second videos? Not TikTok. It was way before them. I can't remember what they were called, but they didn't last long. But it was this kid that's a defensive end.
The Vines.
He was blind, and they let him play defensive end for some like peewee team. It's just this video of this kid running around.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we got a question from Scouse's brother Ian. He says, "Not sure if if it was discussed. If we lose, should or would JDR be fired?" We did touch on this a little bit last week. I just think it's just it's just too far in the season. And maybe his play call duties get revoked, and maybe Ron would take over, but I just don't think you can. It's
too early.
It's just it's too early for one, and two. I just don't think it's going to do anything. I mean, you can have Chris Harris come in, and like I said, we did talk about this, and a lot of people are talking about Chris Harris being the defensive coordinator interim, and why would you want that? Because his secondary is playing like shit too. So
yeah, these are veteran players too.
Yeah, it's. I just don't think a coordinator in the middle of the season or this early in the season, not yet.
You should have done it in January.
Yeah, if you were going to do it,
he stood up there in that goddamn press conference and said Jamin Davis is actually better suited to play on the outside. You should have said, "Get your ass out of here," because it's clear Jack Del Rio can't concentrate so long as the border remains as open as it is.
And I know what people want.
MAGA
Jack Del Rio fired, and shit. Listen. I had Del Rio's back since the first year when I thought the defense was going to take off. Last year it didn't. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. COVID injuries. Chase Young didn't play well, but going into year 3, it's he's got to be going out at the end of the season if this defense doesn't get its shit together, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen because we're seeing the same fucking problems as we did last year.
What do you think, Andy? Before I go off on my rant,
I agree. I think he's got the full season personally, unless we're like 1-10 and the season's done. Then he'd be gone earlier. But being honest, he's gonna go to the end of the season, and I think because we'll have the way it's going, probably a 9-8 season, maybe something like that for lucky. Ron's gonna feel the heat as well, so he's gonna go, okay, he's my scapegoat, JDR, see you later. So, and he'll start again, and that's basically that's what'll happen.
I know a lot of people are also calling for Ron, and that's just not going to happen.
It's the only response they have: fire him or kill him.
It's just not going to happen.
He's in a position, Ron, where he's made himself indispensable. Basically.
He is.
And he's not just coach, he's GM as well, and everything else that comes around.
He's going to get his full 5.
Yeah, and at this
unless this season's an utter disaster.
Yeah, if we go like a 2-15, 3-14
with no serious injuries,
yeah, that's just. But the fact of the matter is, and I might get crushed for this, but I think Ron came to this team at the right time. This a whole,
we all know this.
And we talked about this earlier, but changes needed to fucking happen. When you have players giving your head coach titty twisters at practice, something's not right there.
I don't know, man. You got to let Deshaun Jackson.
Still, man.
I almost had Deshaun Watson give a few titty twisters.
Yeah, but like, do I think Ron's going to take us to the promised land? I do not. But I think we're going to be in better position once the next, after he fulfills his 5 years, and maybe he'll take a front office job after that. But I do like Ron as a person. He's respected as a coach. Players will play hard for him. As even the games going back to last year when we were out of it, when the game was there was no way that we could come back. Players still played hard for him,
that's always good.
To see that, and no matter what anybody, I see people saying, "Oh, JDR's lost the locker room." No, he hasn't.
Well, he's had lost.
Even Jack is very well respected, not only in that locker room but around the league as well. Even though people don't agree with his politics.
Let's face it. You know, if you're a player, you've got a pretty cushy job, and that you can fuck it up as bad as possible, and your coach isn't going to fire you, so you're going to continually say he's wonderful. Nah, I'm just kidding with that, obviously, but look, the way I see it is this: when it comes to Jack Del Rio and with the defensive coaches in general, adjust. Got to adjust. All right, these same problems keep coming up. All right, if this is what it is, and that's the thing I'm getting tired of, is the finger that comes out of the coaches that says these people need to do better, this guy needs to do better, or if one guy would have done his job, or if they stop freelancing. Let me tell you something. And I'm not talking to Jack Del Rio here. I'm just talking as a fan. But when in any venture that you do, if your people are freelancing and they're not following what they're supposed to do, it means they don't believe in what the fuck they're doing. They think they can do it better. All right. And if you've got that problem for as long as this has been going on, you need to look inside the mirror. You need to look at yourself and say, what the hell can I do to try to get these guys to, all right, look, if they can't, if they're never on the same page, then something's wrong with what you're trying to show them. Your book is out of order. Something's wrong. You got to look at yourself if you continually keep getting bad results. And with this defense, the most famous optimist of Commanders fans that there is, Mr. Tim Meek and I were discussing this the other day.
I love Tim, man.
Tim is great, man. Tim is never going to say a foul word no matter what.
He doesn't.
And I mean, that's fine. That's cool. And now that I've said that, I've completely forgotten what the hell I brought him up for. But y'all
were having a conversation.
We were having a conversation of it was about Jack Del Rio, and I swear to God, it just flew right the fuck out of my head. You ever have that happen to you, Andy? It just flew right the fuck out of my head.
Many times.
Jesus Christ. Let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah. And I always
thank you for picking up for my old ass, because I forgot.
I always liked Jack Del Rio as a coach when he was with Jacksonville, when he was with the Raiders, when he was with the Broncos. I always thought he always had really strong and tough defenses. And when he went and worked for ESPN for a year, and then when Rivera was hired, he brought Jack on, and I was really excited about it. And it looked like, after that first initial season, like we had something going on, especially on fucking defense, if we could just get a quarterback. But last year, we were making the same mistakes every year, and there was communication.
It's the same thing now.
Exactly. And then
the same thing now.
The same thing. It's not being fixed. There's some kind of disconnect.
That's what I was talking about with Tim. It's not that I don't like Jack Del Rio, and somebody else that was yelling at, the guy that told me, what do you play on the team? But that I don't know what's going on in the locker room. And that's true. I don't. The fact of the matter is, I don't see any adjustments to try to correct the problems that are continual. All right. These are the continual problems. It's not like this is an occasional thing. All right. It's an occasional thing when we play good, when we play well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Definition of insanity, isn't it? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah.
But that really doesn't count for masturbation, though, does it? All right, for all you three people that are watching us live, I'm not going to apologize for that.
Only three. Well, that's quite a lot, really, isn't
it? I don't know how many people are looking at it. I don't really care. It doesn't make any difference. It's a podcast. It's meant to be an audio. Oh, I said three, and now four of them. Hey, we've only got three. Come on, get my sister in here.
Ian's got another question. Says the constant stream of injuries is concerning to me. The medical team slash physical team actually the best.
Not in the same sense a certain person got raided by the FBI. I'll tell you what, prior to that, they were pretty bad. It hasn't been, I don't think it's been unusual this year. We've had Mathis get hurt.
His name escapes me, but the new head trainer is very, very well respected in the league. He used to play here. He was with he was with I think Indiana for 20-some years.
University?
University. He was their head trainer for like 20 years. He was here before that, learning under Bubba Tyer. So injuries happen. I mean, that's
it's
just
a rough sport.
Yeah, we're not the only team that's suffering from injuries.
You know, the thing is, I don't see too many of them. Mathis got hurt, but big men get hurt, especially when they get smashed like that. But I don't see too many of the, I don't see like the every year, because of the lack of preseason and the candy ass camps that they're allowed to do now. You see a lot of these soft tissue injuries. You see a lot of pulls. You see a lot of this and a lot of that. Look, Trey Turner is hurt. Trey Turner seems to be hurt all the time, and he's an old man. He's out there trying. You know,
Trey Turner, isn't he about 29?
29. He's like maybe
He's
the
an old
29th
dude.
anniversary of his 29th birthday.
I'll take that. 29 years old. But yeah, I think it's more conditioning is the biggest problem. I said, because, as you mentioned there, because of camp, and you can't hit, and you can't train your body to actually take the abuse that you're actually going to do in a game. Yeah, in the preseasons, you don't play the main guys in preseason mostly, so they're not used to it. So week one, there's the acid test straight away, and we got a few injuries there. Schweitzer went out injured in that game. Another couple of guys went out as well first week. But again, they're soft tissue, but again, still they're not. It's not ready. You know what I mean?
It's the fact of the matter. This is a very physical sport. Guys are bigger, stronger, faster. They do not do much hitting in the off season. This is league wide. It's not just
wear pads. Anymore.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
wear pads anymore. Holy shit.
You know,
look at the game. You look at a game tape like you were watching that Joe Theismann thing. You look at the linebackers from the 80s.
Yeah,
My God, they had like shoulder pads up to here.
Yeah. and look, this. Gone are the days of two-a-days, and camps were freaking months long, not weeks long. Your body has to; their bodies are not getting in football shape until after the first month of the season. Or really, I think
what Scott says has a lot to it. You got to get used to getting hit, and that doesn't mean that your body has to get used to taking an impact, because that's ridiculous. You don't get used to that.
Scott, you mean
your body has to get used to getting twisted in ways that you don't anticipate. You can stretch all you want until you get wrapped up in a tackle and your thigh is over your ear. Because there's a 300-pound guy laying on top of it. That's when you find out whether you're in football shape.
I mean, didn't one get $100,000 fine for one of the guys hitting somebody in camp? So
see, that's the players' union, man. It's the players they wanted that, so that's what they got, and that's what we get because we're fans of the sport.
A comment from Scott Hartley. He says it's a crazy cycle. We can't ever have a good offense and a good defense at the same time. It's always a QB need or coaching. We will we ever be able to contend? And I mean, in a way, you're right.
Hang on a second.
It's either
checking in from the UK, Scott Hartley.
Yeah, it's either we need a fucking quarterback. Well, it's been like that for fucking since 2012.
Let me answer question, Jesse, if I may.
Sure.
Quit crying. It's just football. That's the way it goes. We can't ever have nice things.
And no, from the UK, you do not spell offense with a C. It's with an S. Okay. I'm just fucking with y'all.
All right, we're off the rails here. How do they spell offense in Philadelphia? You know how they spell offense in Philadelphia? R-U-N. That's the thing that I get nervous about. That's what I get nervous about because, okay, look, of all the things that they've been telling me when they started telling me in March that Cole Holcomb's going to be able to play middle linebacker for us. He's going to be able to pull us through. All right, well, this is supposed to be his strength, right? The run game. All right, because if Philly gets up on top, that's what they did to the Vikings. They just ran the ball the whole second half and said, fuck off. We're not going to even let you get near it. All right. So let's do X factors. Are we ready for X factors?
Right, X factors.
I got a nifty sound effect for it here. Hold on a second. Ready for it? Here we go. X factor. X factor. All right. So we have a low budget. X factor. Andy, you want to join in? X factor.
X factor.
There we go. All right. So an X factor is what's going to be something that stands out in the football game, something that they either don't see coming or is going to be a key to the game. It could be either on our team, it could be on the Eagles team, it could be offense, it could be defense, it could be anything like that. And I'll go ahead with you, Jesse. Go ahead first. Who's your X factor? And it could be more than one guy. So, and it could be doesn't have to be a guy. It could be something that's going to abstract thought.
I think the water
the
boy
X factor is the interest rate in France.
The water boy is going to play a big part in this game. No, on a serious note, my X factor from last week, which I thought he was going to play, but it looks like he's actually going to play this week, is Cam Curl, and I think him getting in that big nickel and hopefully playing more close to the line of scrimmage will help out in the run game against the Eagles. So if we're going to have any chance of trying to limit their scoring, it's going to be Cam Curl stepping up and helping out big time in the run game.
I agree. And, since we know Cam Curl listens to this show, look, buddy.
Yeah.
We're counting on you. All right, Andy, what do you think? Who's your first X factor of the game?
I'm going to say Schweitzer, actually.
Schweitzer.
Yeah, Schweitzer. I mean, if we can't keep Carson upright, we've got no chance. So
Very good point.
He has to stop Fletcher Cox and the other dudes coming through. So, I think if he plays well, we've got a chance. Because we can put points on the board. So,
all right, that's a good one. That's a really good X factor.
On the same line as Scouse, look, they're going to come for Carson. Our offensive line has to be ready because they know Carson Wentz. A lot of those players, especially on the defense, have been there since Carson was there, and they have seen him get rattled, and they want to hit Carson as much as they possibly can. And when that happens, that ball could go anywhere.
What's this? Oh, hang on a second, Jesse. All right, I'm being told that if you hit any quarterback enough, they're going to get fucking rattled.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's just the way
I don't know.
I'm told. So, yeah, I think that goes both ways. And Wentz is a big guy, man. He's able to evade some pressure. I do think that the offensive line is a good X factor because they got kind of abused last week, man. They're going to have to pull it together. And
they look silly. That was the first time since Masco has been a part of this coaching staff where they looked foolish.
Yeah, and as the old guy that, I think I'm probably among the Commanders podcasters that we know, I think I'm the oldest one. That's fine with me. I remember the good old days. And one of the things about the good old days was the ability to adjust on the fly. And that's why I get so fed up and frustrated with this, like I saw on Sunday, because I kept asking. I'm tweeting during the game. I like to do that. And I'm asking, why the fuck aren't we adjusting to this pressure? Why aren't we adjusting to the way that we're doing things? And what we did in the second half proved that we knew how. We can definitely adjust. We brought McKissick in more on blocking downs and let him, instead of flare out, we let him try to block because he's damn good at picking up the blitz. We did more things with our tight ends. You got to see more John Bates in the second half. So you got to make these adjustments quicker if they start to exploit things, because if they don't, you see what happened. Right, we gave up a safety last week. As far as I'm concerned, giving up a safety is like farting in front of the girl you like. It really is the worst thing it's the worst thing you can do.
A running one too, almost like a Hershey squirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, Ian, defense is also spelled with an S. Just let me know. It's scheduled, not sexual.
Not in Jack Del Rio parlance. Defense is filled with a you need to do it, buddy, because I ain't involved. I was trying to get this through people's heads this week. You know what? They're telling me, okay, these guys got to run the scheme. It's okay, great. They got to run the scheme. But what if the scheme is shit?
Yeah, that's that. No, you're right.
What if the scheme is shit? You know what? Jack Del Rio, I heard you talking when I had my dogs were barking. I heard you talking about he did well in Jacksonville. He did well with Oakland. He did well in Minnesota. He was out of the league for 3 years before we brought him back. All right.
Well,
at some point, you have to look at the failure that this defense is. What's that?
He was a head coach with the Raiders right before
2017,
right before John Gruden. Yeah, he got here 2019.
He got here in 2020.
Okay,
I think so. I think, isn't that right?
I thought it was just 1 year.
The point is, he was out of football. All right, and even though that might not mean anything, I don't see anybody picking up other guys that have been out of football for so long. Mike Martz is making comments on the goddamn TV, but that dude was at one time an offensive genius, right? So when you get to the point where you've got the same problems that are going on for over a year, you say maybe he was out of football for a fucking reason.
He was also a head coach at that time too.
No, he was out of football when we picked him up. He was fucking selling tires for Goodyear.
Nah, he was on ESPN.
He was on ESPN.
Yeah,
well, good for him. As long as he. That's for Jack Del Rio. Get the shit.
All right, what's your X factor there, Johnny boy?
My X factor for the week this week is going to be Cam Curl. He's got to step in and he's got to be able to solve all of our defensive problems, every single one. That would be one hell of a fucking.
He's he's got to play a big role for this defense to look better. And I'm not even looking for good. I'm looking for just okay. Just fucking be like top 25 for a game.
My X factor of this game is going to be the linebackers, and it's going to mean Jamin Davis, pressure the quarterback, hit the running backs hard, and force a fucking fumble. And Cole Holcomb, John Bostic, whoever you've got out there, except for David Mayo, forget his fucking name, Jack Del Rio. I swear to God, send him out for fucking coffee to Delaware. Right?
Isn't he the
Wilmington? Right? Send him to Wilmington. So, but it's because Cole Holcomb, look, because if you don't know how to cover tomorrow or Sunday, Dallas Goedert will eat your ass alive. And
that's what I was going to mention. I was going to mention about what it is.
They've got wide receivers that are going to be giving our secondary fits, right? We're going to have somebody watching Hurts, so we're going to be able to we're going to have to at least come with 5 most plays at least. You got to cover that tight end. You got to cover him.
I think Cam's the only dude. I think Cam's the only dude who's proven who can actually do it. And
I hope he does. I hope he does. As a matter of fact, I hope he takes Dallas Goedert's head and puts it between his fucking forearm and squeeze it. That's what I hope.
We're over the hour mark now. What do we got for predictions?
All right. How about a pick? Go ahead, Jesse. What's your pick?
We are going to lose 38-33.
Oh, you pessimistic bastard. All right. What do you got there? Go ahead, Andy.
41.
Land of
41-84.
I was gonna lay a 40 burger, but I decided not to.
That 7-point margin, like I mentioned earlier.
All right, so you got a score in 34. That you could take a moral victory from that. I am going to call for a win here. The Commanders are going to win this football game. It's going to be inexplicable. We're going to win 31-26. We're going to cause 2 turnovers that they do not expect and they do not see coming. Because, there's never a good time for a turnover. But I think we're going to win this one, boys. I got a good feeling about it. Weird things happen in the NFC East. We're going to win a couple that we aren't expected to, and we're going to lose a couple that we aren't expected to. And since we lost a couple that we weren't expected to, or at least one we weren't expected to last week, I like doing that. We're going to win one that we're not expected to this week. We'll find out if I'm going to get the attaboy.
Yeah. Yeah,
the game beer.
I hope so. All right, well, that's I guess that's all we got right now because we're at 103. So, Andy, thank you very much for stopping by, man. It was great fun to meet you and hang out with you on Legends Plaza. That was a ball.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was, one of those things you'll just never forget.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal. Thanks for having me on the pod as well. It's good.
Yeah, and I'm glad we have such wonderful videos.
It came out.
What happened, Scotty?
70 degrees, now it's 90. Hot in the air.
And that is the result of some seriously bad chili fries. All right, then I guess we got to say whatever we're going to say to close the show because we still haven't figured it out. So whatever, Andy, pick something, say something to get us out of here.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. He's going French on us. He's going French on us.
All right.
Take care, boys.
Did you realize that we signed a defensive lineman so that you English guys could play along? His name is Potato. Did you see that? His name is
Potato.
No, it's Potato or Potato. One of the
Potato.
That was
until Misery Monday, everyone.
Oh, quit your crying. All right. See you later.
See you there, boys.